Listen, yeah. You fucking frog-eating bastard.
Oban's fight. What did I tell you, man? What did I try and tell you about Oban's fight? It's an absolute disappointment, I'll tell you that much. What did it get announced as? Has it been announced? Yeah, not Ramazan Kadyrov. Ramiz Brahimaj. Like, this is so weak. This is so weak. Is it not? I think it's a win for him. So I'm happy about that because with the Bryan Battle fight, I just wasn't too sure. That's a close fight for Oban, you know what I mean? That's a difficult one. But, I mean, come on, man. No, I didn't leak it. I just saw it on Big Marcel. Ramiz Brahimaj, after the 3-0 run that he's done, is crazy. Honestly, they should have offered him. They're disrespecting the fighters. They are disrespecting the fighters. They really are. Anyway, let me catch up. Nice cut, Piggy. Looking like a Greek god. Thanks, man. That's the look I was going for. That of the philosopher, you know? I think, therefore, I am. It's just my hair. This is how it grows. Buy protest some Zin for the love of God. Oh, my God. He's going to have trouble in the later rounds. I was looking at another thing of him talking about how much he smokes. Sup, Kadir Obese. All right. Thank you for the 2. I'm the thin version of Kadyrov. Why is everyone saying that? I'm actually the better version of Kadyrov in a way, and more based. If he loses in some fluky way, I'm going to be upset. I mean, Ramiz Brahimaj is a good fighter, isn't he? But I mean, if Max Griffin can, I think Oban definitely can. Impression of Volk noticing he's faster and better, then gets KO'd. Yeah, I'm too fast for him. Yeah, oh yeah, let's out. No, don't put that out there. But I think he will lose. But I'll tell you this, chat. I'm going to leave this. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Volkanovski's in the best fucking shape of his life. Anyone seen Volk recently? He's genuinely in the best shape of his life for this fight. I've never seen him in this level of shape. He's leaner than he's ever been. Jacked. Yeah, he's definitely leaner than he's ever been. I mean, sometimes he likes to be heavy for the division, but this is the best shape we've ever seen Volkanovski in. So I'm worried now for my pick of Diego Lopes. I could see it, you know, he's so shredded he doesn't have the same toughness or anything like that, or the same strength maybe, but dude, Volk's in the fucking shape of his life for this fight. Paddy too. No, Paddy's the similar. He normally gets to that level of shape, but Volk, honestly, dude, I saw him and thought, damn, I might be fucking wrong. So, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Thomas Peterson versus Dontel Mays. Who you got? I've got... Oh, really? Is that a fucking fight that's happening? Oh, Dontel Mays, I guess. Thank you for the membership, Bearded Viking Woodworks. Did you see the Bryce... You and Bryce coordinate haircuts? Does this mean you're a flat earther? No, we didn't coordinate. My haircut's nothing like Bryce Mitchell's haircut. This is all like a fringe. Thank you for the 8 months. Piggy looking like the one cat with a watermelon helmet. All right, I'll take helmet over receding, balding. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. It doesn't matter what shape he's in. Let's not get started with the hair again. We got a lot to discuss. It doesn't matter what shape he's in. He's getting fucking slept in the first round. All right. Jeez, the aggression. Now do an impression of talking during the fight before getting knocked out and seizing up on the canvas. All right. It is it, you know, too fast for him, eh? Thank you for the $10, Weary Traveller. That doesn't matter when you're 36 at featherweight with 2 KOLs. I know. Thank you for the 2. But he does look in better shape. He actually does. If Dan Ige did well, why can't Volk? Why are people... I know that Ige took it on short notice, but he was preparing for a fight. And he was on standby. And Lopes made weight 3 different times within the space of fight week. He made weight at 145. Ortega missed. He was on schedule to make weight for 145. Then he made weight at 155 after rehydrating, took himself back down again. Then he made catch weight 165 against Dan Ige. He made 3 different weight classes in that fight. I understand, yeah. But Lopes also took that on short notice. And he made 3 different weight classes, man. That is a factor. He made 145. He was there to make it. Ortega didn't make weight, so he's like, okay, well, I don't need to make 145. Then he bulked back up. Okay, well, 155. Made 155. Then Ortega pulled out, and Ige took it at 165. And he came, oh, okay, I've got to make 165. It was like a roller coaster for him. He made weight like, I swear to God, chat, yes or no, didn't they broadcast him making weight at the event? I don't know. And Ige's tough for him, yeah, unfinishable, holds his ground, launches back with power shots, and he didn't get caught. Third round, he had a moment, last 2 minutes, where Ige did well. There you go. Well done. Thank you for the 2. Damn, I've been a member for a year and I forgot to update payment info and now I got to start over. I always remember, brother. It's all good. Oh, well, by the way, hopefully UFC listens to the cards you built. They seem to have been. You the man, Goo. Thank you very much. But they seem to have been listening because I'm seeing a lot of announcements. And yes or no, chat, I'm seeing a lot of call-outs being made by fighters that are maybe trying to... Listen, I'm not saying that I influence their call-out, but even Kevin Vallejo said on Twitter today, Nate Landwehr sounds like a good fight for me. So Vallejos is obviously a viewer. Respect. And Jan called out Umar today as well for Abu Dhabi. So I think their management is probably being like, there's someone mentioned this. Call him out. I don't think Peter Yan's there watching my channel, wondering who I say you should fight. And it makes sense anyway, but they're definitely riding the momentum of it, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, hopefully we get those matchups. Because if we can get those cards, easy work. Those are the cards we need. I cooked on that video. I like doing videos like that as well. Let me know what you think about those. Because they're not like trending topics that are going to get crazy views or get 200k views or anything like that. But they're things that I'm passionate about. And sometimes I just like doing those generic, in general videos. Is that the cut required to enter Jerusalem? Yes, I guess so. Yeah, you have to look like a philosopher. Finney's Guru never fought comment was dumb as fuck. I was going to make a video on Finney today before I watched the Bryce Mitchell Media Day, where some media reporter asked him about his comments to the LGBTQ, and Bryce Mitchell quoted the fucking scripture back at him and like screamed it at him. And then Bryce Mitchell at the end of the media day brought up the Bolsheviks. Dude, Bryce Mitchell's so sick, man. I love Bryce Mitchell. He stood his base at the media day. So I did a video on that. That's coming out after the stream. That was cold. Yeah, it was good. This media guy, I know it was Alexander. It's gonna start with that. I'm not gonna give his name. I don't want to target anything here. But I know what media member it was that asked him that. And he was like saying Dana's words back at him about him being the dumbest person ever. And then he started talking about, you know, you posted something about virtualization and the LGBT and all of this. And Bryce was like, and Bryce just started saying Bible scriptures at him when he asked him about that, which is good stuff. I don't know if it was a Bible thing, but it was definitely some kind of like religious text that he was saying to him. Willis's questions were so soy in the Bryce Media Day. Yeah, I didn't really get into too many of Willis's questions, but I got into one of them to start the day, Louis. Yeah, man, feel of a thing. Willis's questions were so soy in the Bryce Media Day. Yeah, I didn't really get into too many of Willis's questions, but I got into one of them to start because he was like, do you still think we're degenerate so-and-sos? And he kind of came back away from that, but yeah, they were a little soy. Thank you for the 2. I don't know, maybe I missed something at the start, but yeah. Impression of Bryce on mushrooms, but I got the key moments. I think it's a good video coming. Impression of Bryce on mushrooms. The demons are all over me. I don't think Bryce would do mushrooms, dude. No chance. Reporter, do you take Gene's comments personally? Bryce, I'm going to personally whoop his ass. I didn't include all of it because I didn't want to get too tricky with taking a lot of the Amac Life content, but he had some good moments. He did. Thank you for the 5. I more covered the bit when he brought up the Bolsheviks and Natan Levy and the LGBTQ question that he got asked that he started preaching back at. There was a lot to cover, so I didn't want to make it too much of picking apart everything. But yeah, he had some good moments. I like your 317 card, but it's too much for the UFC. They wouldn't do that unless it's Saudi. A lot of people said that in the comments, that this is too much, you're being unrealistic. I don't think I'm being unrealistic. I can think of an August card that includes big names a title fight on top of it. 2 title fights, you know, bring Zhang Wei Li back as a co-main event and then put Gaethje versus Arman on the card. And some other decent fights on there as well. Maybe a rebooked Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree fight on the main card. And that'll save you up until September. We've got time. I don't know what they're waiting with these names for. I know what you mean about the Saudi cards. They're always way better, but come on, man. Kevin Vallejo's smart call out. Yeah, Vallejo's he follows me and I think he watches my videos. So shout out to Kevin Vallejo's, man. He's been following me for a while now. Thank you for the membership, Mark Garza. I appreciate the membership, dude. Thanks. Would you pick Volk if this was before the Ilia fight? Yeah. Yeah, I probably would. But it's not before the Ilia fight, man. No, I wouldn't. It depends on his conditions for... It depends on the condition of him after the Makhachev fight. If he was coming in 2 months later against Lopes, I'd still pick Lopes. Circumstances are a big factor in my prediction here. But I'd be 50-50 then. I'm leaning Lopes because of the circumstances of Volk being older, coming off a long layoff after 2 KO losses back-to-back, and you're going in there against Diego Lopes. That's so bad to me. That is such a red flag to me, man. I can't ignore it.
I do have to ask you one thing, and Torrez, you're my guy, so I ask you with all due respect. But there's a streamer out there named MMA Guru. I'm sure you're aware of who he is, right?
Yes, I know exactly who he is.
He had a pretty harsh comment. I'll read it to you. He says, Torrez Finney is actually he's actually the biggest bitch we've ever seen in the UFC. I've never seen anyone desperately try to avoid a fight for 15 straight minutes. More separations. He makes Marab look like prime Lawler. And then he says that the UFC should cut you. What is your response to this?
Well, for one, MMA Guru has never fought. I'm not gonna get here and call names, but I will say this. MMA Guru, for you to have those type of opinions, you have a platform. Congratulations, brother. But there's a lot more things that I think you need to acknowledge before you just go around and being mad at fighting. Because I've seen his comments on other things on the Dagestanis on their styles. So it's more of him hating the style rather than have him actually hating the fighter. But, I mean, if he hates me, so be it. I mean, look, let him talk. Let him talk. Because you can hate me, but you can't beat me. And if you want to just sit here and just trash talk me, so be it. But I'm going to keep winning. I have no other words for MMA Guru. He can say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, Finney mentioned me. I thought his response was pretty okay. Listen, I want Finney to lose now because the fight was boring as shit. So I guess I'll give my response to Finney here as well. It was boring. It really was. I'm not trying to see that. I'm trying to see damage. I'm trying to see not even damage, man. Chase a sub. Chase something. Chase some level of improvement of position other than just getting a guy to the ground in the first place. You're lucky he didn't get separated more often. In fact, I think Robert Valentin, yes or no chat, was a victim of his own takedown defense success. If Valentin wasn't working his way back up as much, they probably would have separated it and had it standing a lot more. But Valentin kept getting back up and going back down and getting back up. So he was kind of a victim of his own success. And, yeah, Torrez Finney was pretty okay with the response, though. I know he said Guru hasn't fought, but I haven't fought, so... I'm not going to get too up in arms about that. I was going to make a video, but even if I'd made the video, I was going to try and mix it with some other news and break it down that way, but... I don't know. I'm not going to go after Torrez Finney too much for it. He seemed alright, you know what I mean? It was a pretty, he didn't crash out about it, if you know what I'm saying. Torres's response was fine. I thought he handled it well. Same here. I'm not going to go all in on Torrez Finney. I think he handled it all right. It's just, don't be surprised when I'm cheering tears of rejoice and I'm crying with tears of joy as you get finished later in your career with that type of energy. But there you go. What's up, Critical Eye? Digging a new hairdo. Thanks, man. It was about time I got a positive comment. Got a full head of hair. I've had a lot of trash for it, though. People are comparing me to Ramazan Kadyrov online. I'm honored. I'm really honored. Send them to Canada. Is Bryce's contract 271k to show? I think it might be, yeah. If you really go through the extra information on the topic. But apparently when he first signed it, it said 6 mil. Thank you for the membership, Nathan. Appreciate that. Impression of McGregor finding Paul Craig with D. D, he's fucking triangling you, yeah? Get over there, me. Don't let him do it to you, dear, yet. When is Finney's own OF collab? Get a room. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, like, he handled, I don't think he, like, crashed out and bullshitted his way through it. He just said, all right, it was a bad performance, but, like, hey, if you want to deal with me, then beat me in the cage. So it's like, okay. But I'm not going to start saying, fuck this guy, he's horrible. He had a boring fight, and he's had one before, so hopefully that isn't his continued style. Lopes is sort of a combo Ortega, BJJ Yair wildness, Tapuria power, Max's chin. I wouldn't say Max's chin yet, we're just not sure, but he does have a really good chin, yeah. Not saying he has the same attributes, but similar enough. He's a combo. He's not as good as any of them in all of those areas, but he's near them in a lot of those areas. I wouldn't say Tapuria power. This is what I mean. He's got power, but it's not Tapuria power. He's got BJJ, but it's not Ortega BJJ. He's got wildness, but it's not Yair wildness. He's got chin, but it's not Max's chin. But that's a very well-rounded, dangerous fighter. So if he does lock in on his cardio, and we see that in this fight, I don't know who beats him. Even Evloev, and he took that fight on short notice. This is the thing with Lopes, man. People are judging him, but he's been, like, gallivanting through his career with little to no care about preparation or full training camps. Chandler beats Pimlet, then Tapuria loses to Oliveira. Would Chandler versus Tapuria be a sensible matchup, or am I dumb? If Chandler beats Pimlet, then Tapuria loses to Oliveira, would Chandler versus Tapuria be a sensible matchup, or am I dumb? I think Tapuria, if he lost at lightweight, just being honest, wouldn't look towards the lower rankings of the lightweight division. Instead, he would sort of maybe bank on the idea that he would get a title fight upon returning to featherweight. I don't think Tapuria really struggled making featherweight. I don't think that's true at all. I think he just wanted to glory hunt big fights instead of rematch Volk, because there's no way he could do it better than he did. You know, and I think he knows that. I think he knows, all right, second time round, Volk's going to be tricky. You know, he got the perfect result out of it, and he didn't want to then be forced into a rematch and then try and move up afterwards, you know? So I think he just wanted that legacy to be left alone, perfect as it is at featherweight. But if he lost at lightweight to Oliveira, I do think he would be like, okay, let's see who wins out of Evloev and Lopes if that happens, or if Volk's champ still, then he has a lot of leverage to go back down and get a title shot. So I think he'll see what happens. I don't see him fighting Chandler, but those are good matchups if he does. Le Guru de MMA has got it up, but it's got no views in 13 minutes. So he's not really one of the big dogs, you know.